Final week of the regular season. Some people call it cash game week. I'm all on board with cash game week. Joined again by Jacob Sanderson. We are, of course, presented today by our good friends over at DraftKings because it is playoff basketball week. We're actually going to do a playoff basketball draft here at the end. If you guys don't want to watch it, you don't have to. But we are going to begin by breaking down. And I've done the math, Jacob. I know who is trying. Obviously, there are some spots where teams haven't told us one way or the other if they are trying. There's like some fishy line, like the Bills. The Bills are only 7-point favorites over the Jets, which indicates to me that Sean McDermott might be starting at quarterback in that game. But we are beginning with your team. And startlingly, it does appear that the way the Colts felt about Riley Leonard did, in fact, come into play with them choosing to start Phillip Rivers because Phillip Rivers has announced his second retirement. It's over. It's over. He is not starting here against the Houston Texans.
Yeah, I mean, they were eliminated before their last game, but they were eliminated on the Saturday.
Yes.
So, they, I think, proceeded throughout the week under the assumption that the Texans would lose and that game against the Jaguars would still have meaning for them. So, it would be kind of weird, I guess, to just like Saturday night be like, all right, Phil, like we're going to throw out that game plan now. You're not starting any longer. Thank you, Phil, for the memories. I'll look back on him and cherish the time that we got to spend together at the end of this season. And I don't think it's dark for the NFL. I think it actually ruled. I think you were the guy.
No. Let me correct myself.
Being this thing actually sucks.
This thing actually, the actual Phillip Rivers starting those games, couldn't agree more. That was actually cool. That the part of it of Phillip Rivers just waddling off his couch, going, "Dadgummit, all right, I guess I'm gonna play." Like that part was cool. What it overall symbolized about the NFL was not cool, but the actual thing itself was cool. So let me officially get that on the record. Here's, I suppose, the main question I have for you. So just by the way, the Houston Texans.
How bad is Riley Leonard?
I think Riley Leonard is probably pretty bad, but I don't really know if it matters here. So Houston clinches the division with a win and a Jacksonville loss. When we get to the Jags absolutely want to win. These games are obviously happening simultaneously, so there might be a little bit of scoreboard watching between the teams, but I expect Houston to, play their starters. Like Nico Collins is one of the elite skill position players on this slate who wants to win. What is more important to me for this slate, though, is does Jonathan Taylor play? Because I'm guessing probably not. Had Derrick Henry not gone on that run last week, I think he probably would have. But because Henry is now the rushing yard leader and obviously has to win his game. It's actually Cook. Sorry, it's my bad. It's actually Cook. Well, okay, that's interesting then.
Yeah,
because right now Taylor
is currently 47 yards behind James Cook. So I actually think I think it's actually the other way. I think Cook is at more risk. I think what's going to happen is Taylor's going to play. He plays first, right? And I think the Bills play in the late window, if I recall correctly.
That is correct.
So
yeah,
Taylor's going to play. I think Taylor's going to play the entire game.
Okay.
And then I think depending on how strong of a game Jonathan Taylor has, tells you how long James Cook will play. Because I think Cook will play until he passes Taylor.
Yes. I actually think you're right. And I think that's a pretty good note because, well, I was going to say there's no price reduction on Jonathan Taylor at all for the Texans. I was thinking maybe there would be. So, yeah. And I don't even really think Woody Marks is in play here. I mean, I guess at 5,800, it's just like, how ineffective can a guy be with these touch? And they never throw him the ball, Jacob. Like, why? No. Why do they never throw him? It makes no sense. Why do they never throw him the ball?
I have no idea. That's the only thing he's good at. I think I think you could do a Texans passing game stack. I'm not super interested in Marks. But yeah, I mean, the Colts secondary has been beat shit basically this whole year. I don't know if Sauce is going to play or not. He got re-injured in this game last week. I can't imagine there's a point in risking it, but I guess we'll find out. I was surprised they even played him last week. I do think that this game, I think the Texans will play throughout because they do need a Jags loss to clinch the division, and that's probably pretty unlikely. There's like a chance that the Jags are up 3 touchdowns on the crappy Titans in the third quarter.
Yeah.
But they also need, if they win, no matter what else happens, they just clinch the 5 seed. And to me, that is worth playing for. First off, there's like a legitimate chance that the Pittsburgh Steelers are the 4th seed. I would way rather play the Steelers than any of these other teams in round 1 of the playoffs by a lot. If you can have the chance to make that happen, that seems really worthwhile. And then regardless, it's kind of a crazy year where you really do feel like anybody could beat anybody. And like, why couldn't, the Texans and Bills play in the AFC Championship game? And if you're the Texans, you want to host that game. So I would be trying for the 5 seed personally, and I think that they will.
Yeah, I think you are probably correct there. I don't really have any huge, despite it being one of the games that actually matters, the total is so low, 39.5. Like, I just don't really think there's much of a point there. Here's a game that we have to try and figure out, and it might be a little bit of a slappy the seal situation. So the Dallas Cowboys are traveling to play at the New York Giants. The Giants would love to lose this game for draft position purposes. They might, what's funny is if we get a really late draft riser quarterback, whoever it might be, Dante Moore, we are actually doing this.
Arch Manning? Could he declare?
Arch Manning. I'm like, whatever. However, it could be Arch Manning. Yeah. Let's say we're actually recording this before the Oregon Texas Tech game, but let's say Dante Moore goes out and just like smashes Texas Tech, who's been one of the better defenses in college football, has a good semifinal. I don't know. Now that Ohio State's out, I think anyone can win. So if they win the national championship, like we could see Dante Moore rise above Mendoza potentially, like this stuff, because none of these quarterbacks are really that good. So this could be a pick that's really important to trade for the Giants. Obviously what is interesting is that it's not noted here because the way the Cowboys updated their practice report was very bizarre, because initially it was Javonte Williams is fully healthy. Then he got listed as a non-practice participant with a neck/shoulder injury, and Jerry actually alluded to it. I'd have to go find the actual news item, but like they said Jaden Blue was going to be active this week.
Yeah.
There is certainly a chance that week 18 is Jaden Blue week. In all seriousness.
I mean, if I'm Javonte Williams and I was one of the most talented running back prospects to come out, I have my career completely shredded by this absolutely gut-wrenching multi-ligament tear injury. I finished my career contract. Nobody wants me. I have to go and take a 1-year, like $3.5 million deal with the Dallas Cowboys. I have the best season of my career. I proved myself. I'm ready to potentially get a modest payday in free agency. Like, I can't imagine wanting to risk
seriously, like Javonte
go play the New York Giants. And
honestly,
that.
Pickens too. Pickens also should be like, I'm good.
Yeah, like it's so. I totally get it, from especially the free agents, like those guys have never even cashed in before in a major way. So could you imagine how horrible that would be if they suffered a serious injury in this completely meaningless game? So yeah, I think Pickens is a good shout. We'll see if he gets scaled down at all. I think Javonte, my guess would be he would not play. He's got the injury stemming from last week. It felt like I don't know, probably could have gone back in.
Probably 3. Honestly, he got hurt 3 weeks ago. So he got hurt. Javonte got hurt 3 weeks ago, left the game, came back. Then the next week he played like his Denver role, where it was just like he was just there to be on the field, but never got the ball. He had the same amount of touches as Malik Davis. Malik Davis obviously would be the fly in the ointment with the Jaden Blue situation.
If Javonte misses, Malik will start. But they'll probably want to get Blue some touches. I mean, why not at this point of the season? I also think Dakota Prescott, from the sounds of it, probably not playing the full game. It's hard to know what to read out of Jerry Jones' comments times. But he did say, he's like, Dak will start, and how long he plays is part of the game plan we won't reveal, or something like that.
Here's your wrinkle there. He is currently leading the NFL in passing yards. The only guy who can catch him is Stafford. and Stafford has to win his game. So, you're at least expecting 220 passing yards at like a minimum from Stafford. So
All right.
now I don't know. I think Dak has already led the NFL in passing yards, so he might not care. I think he actually might have done it twice.
Well,
so I don't know. I don't know if he
Stafford
cares
might
or
not
not.
have to win his game, right?
So
Isn't it the case that I think I could be wrong, but I think that if the Seahawks win,
yes,
then the Rams are locked into the 6. But if
okay. So yes, you're right. So if the Seahawks win, the Rams are locked into the 6th seed.
no,
So
they're
if
locked into the 5, or they're or no, it's the opposite. It's if the
yeah, McVay
the
said Los
49ers
Angeles
win.
won't rest. Yeah.
Yeah, if the 49ers win, Los Angeles is the 6th seed because they lose the tiebreaker to Seattle. If Seattle wins, then they would be the 5 seed with a win. And like you could argue in some cases that doesn't matter. That matters so much in the NFC, specifically because one, the 5 seed is like is the might be the second best seed in the AFC. Like I think I'd rather have the 5 seed to the 2 seed. Like that 4 seed team is going to be such an absolute travesty. And then also you have this situation where the 3 best teams in the conference, at least by record, or I think are all in the NFC West. So it's like very plausible, in fact, that if you're the Rams and you're assuming that you get to the conference championship, that the 49ers or the Seahawks, that they go ahead and they dispatch the Bears and the Eagles, and then you're facing, and it's going to be a 5-6 NFC championship. Like that's really easy to see. You want the home field there. So yeah, I think it's very worth trying for, but I assume that, if the 49ers were to win that game, then we don't see Stafford probably for a single snap.
So yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that even if the other thing happens, that if Seattle wins, like I still think there's a chance that the Rams rest because that's just kind of what historically McVay has not cared much about seeding and is more cared about having healthy players. All of that is to say, a lot of risk in the Cowboys, despite the total being super high. A lot of risk in these guys not playing the entire game because it's just super like this is as meaningless as a game can get. Nothing matters for either of these teams, and both of them would probably slightly prefer to lose. Now, something I would caution against as we go through this is that meaningless to us is not the same meaninglessness to guys who have made their entire identity playing professional football. Like Michael Wilson had a great quote this last week. He was like, brother, my like friends from childhood would give an arm to play a professional football game. Like I'm going out there to do it. Like these guys, you can't, at the end of the day, you can't play football at half speed, right? You're going to get hurt or someone else is going to get hurt if you play football at half speed. So like Dak Lamb stuff, Dak Pickens stuff, like if these guys start, I mean, I wouldn't
if they start and we think they're going to play the full game, they'll be great. Like I mean, I totally agree. The motivation stuff only extends as far as who's playing and not playing, and then or who's playing reduced snaps based on the coaching decisions. But I mean, if a player is playing their normal role, they're going to play to win. I mean, you get to do this thing that you love more than anything in the world 17 times per year, right? I mean, you might only ever get to do this 60, 70 times, even in a good career
in your whole life.
In your life. So like, are you going to just take one off because you're eliminated from the playoffs? Like hell no. Like
okay. I mean, this is probably gonna be the most owned stacking stuff because we have the Jacksonville Jaguars in a must-win spot against this horrible Tennessee Titans passing defense. Trevor Lawrence has scored the most fantasy points in a fantasy football playoffs in the last, I don't remember the time denominator. I think it was the last decade. He scored the most fantasy points in the fantasy football playoffs. You've got Jacoby Myers. You've got, I mean, we can always try and make Brian Thomas Jr. happen again. Parker Washington, Brenton Strange. ETN sucked last week. He looked like, he looked like the version of ETN that we kind of thought we were going to be getting heading into the season. Bishal Tuten is going to play in this game. He practiced in full on Wednesday with the thumb injury. I mean, and also the other thing is we have not seen Liam Cohen call the dogs off. I think because he knows that Trevor, like, it's good for Trevor Lawrence to just beat up on these teams. Like, it is a confidence thing. Like, if that, what they score 45 points against the Jets, like that was kind of the start of this run. So it feels really good to do the Jaguar spots here.
Just want to note, you sound a little bit like Mr. Roboto right now. I don't know if you're having
All right, not loving that.
Wi-Fi
I'm on the
concerns, but
it's not Wi-Fi. It's probably literally the cord on my computer. It's not great. I got a crazy setup down here, Jacob.
all right. If it continues, you might just want to go cordless and just raw dog into the computer because you're lagging a bit. But I heard what you said. The people heard what you said. Yeah, this game is simple. It's probably easy. I mean, it's going to be owned for this reason, obviously. But like, it is one of the most straightforward spots on the whole slate. You get a team that has a very simple goal, which is to win this game, to win their division. They have to play hard. They will play hard. They get to play a horrible defense, specifically a horrible passing defense. And it's just a matter of, can you pick the right two out of really what is like 5 viable stacking partners with Trevor Lawrence right now? You could do Etienne, Myers, Parker, Thomas, or Strange. And, you know, if you want to, on a slate like this, where so many of these games have teams that are starting backups or teams that are going to pull their starters maybe at halftime and nobody gets there, you know, you could pretty easily talk me into playing Lawrence, Etienne, and 2 of the pass catchers. You know, none of them are even that expensive outside Etienne. So one of the easiest spots to attack. It's going to be a popular one. And I think you could probably you could talk me into a Tennessee bring back. I mean, the Titans, Cameron Ward, I don't know if Pat Carrain will want to be in the apology line, but he's been looking kind of good lately.
He has been looking kind of good lately. I mean, it's one of those things where like the ball knowers and the data people are going to kind of both be just like Spider-Man meme pointing at each other for like years, where it's like he is going to have these incredible plays, like that throw to Tajay Spears last week where he was like parallel to the ground and got it. I think honestly, I don't remember the outcome of that play. Like I actually don't remember if they said his knee was down or not. But he is also just going to make some of these like really horrible plays. But he is of the genre of quarterback that could unexpectedly get us like a random fun week 18 result. We're like, oh my God, the Jaguars are down to the Titans at halftime. So like, I'm not expecting that, but I don't know if I was gonna bet one way or the other on minus 12.5, you could maybe talk me into taking the Tennessee Titans here and just like hoping for one of those kind of random spots. Not that, but yeah, Lawrence doubles, Lawrence singles. Like Lawrence will probably be the most owned quarterback, I would imagine, in most formats, and I think it is fine to. I mean, I think it's probably fine to do. The Cleveland Browns playing against the Cincinnati Bengals. This one is in Cincinnati. The Bengals said they're going all out here. The line, I think, suggests that they are going all out here, and they've been eliminated for weeks. So like we've got to see what their eliminated plan looks like. If you were interested in the Myles Garrett sack record, what was that? Joe Burrow said, you know, I'm not going to give him a sack, but sometimes there are plays where taking a sack is the best of a bad result. So if you're wondering if Joe Burrow has a little bit of Brett Favre giving Michael Strahan the sack in him, although I thought Rodgers was going to do the same thing. The issue is Rodgers was playing yeah. Well, I mean, I think the issue for Rodgers is Rodgers was playing so bad in that game, he couldn't afford to give a sack to Myles Garrett. Like I was assuming they'd be up by like 20 at some point in that game, and they certainly were not. Apparently, the Chase Brown thing is just going to keep happening, and there's nothing any of us can do about it. He's going to play 52% of the snaps and keep scoring 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Like the P-Ride coming back, like fully has killed Brown's role, but he's just scoring constantly in spite of that anyways. So I guess it's fine. I think the issue for the Steelers last week was that Watt shares the record with Strahan. And they didn't want Watt to lose his record. And in fact, they will now miss the playoffs probably because they oriented their entire offense around preventing Myles Garrett from getting a sack. But I think Myles Garrett will probably get it done this week against the Cincinnati Bengals. One thing that we probably should touch on in this game The Browns running back rotation last week was a disaster.
All of them, I think, are unplayable. Honestly, the way they rotated them.
Yeah, so like in theory, going into last week, the thought process was, okay, it'll probably be Samson close to workhorse. That's what he was in week 1 against the Bengals. Ford had a portion of the work and some of the LDD stuff, but Samson was the lead back. He got a ton of pass game usage that game. Last week, now obviously Samson was returning from injury, so that might be relevant. But yeah, he split. It was like a full-on 3-way split. Him and Raheem Sanders had almost identical usage in terms of rush attempts and routes, and then they also mixed in Trevion Williams as like a long down and distance guy. If that's what happens again this week, it's unplayable. I mean, I guess you could always take kind of a hope that maybe Samson crowds out Raheem Sanders this week, the second week back off injury, but I don't think I'm getting there.
Yeah, I would have loved to have played Dylan Sampson, but 28% of the routes, even with 14% of the targets, is not going to cut it. Like Dylan Sampson's path to getting there is 1 rushing touchdown and like 7 receptions, and and I just don't think that it's going to happen in this spot. Chase, Burrow, go for it. T. Higgins, I mean, $6,000 T. Higgins. $6,000 T. Higgins. That feels like a very appropriate way to end the regular season. That T. Higgins is $6,000. He's 5% owned, and he has 4 catches, 88 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That feels like a very fitting way to end our season. The New Orleans Saints against the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons, how are the Falcons 3-point favorites in this game, actually? No respect for my guy, Tyler Shuccarino. Basically,
they've been playing well with Kirk recently.
They played very well against the Rams, probably too well against the Rams. Some people were saying on Monday night. Bijan Robinson is 240. Oh shit! I'm gonna forget the tweet that I read. He's 230 some yards away from. Oh, here you go. For most scrimmage yards, 254 yards for the most scrimmage yards in the NFL. There you go. And if this matters to Tyler Shuck, he probably wins Offensive Rookie of the Year with like a good, strong performance here. Basically, the Falcons don't have their first round draft pick, so it doesn't matter to them anyway. And the Saints have been eliminated for 3 months and have been trying full bore. So this is just a normal football game.
Both these teams will try. I also think that both these teams will feel, I don't know if it matters, but like I would guess they feel some level of responsibility to not engage in major hijinks, because while this game does not matter to them, it really does matter. It's a weird scenario in which I don't know how frequently it is that you have 2 teams that
I never remember
are both eliminated, but that their game has major effects on another team. So yeah, the Bucs and Panthers, if the Falcons win this game, then the Carolina Panthers are your NFC South champion regardless. If the Saints win this game, then that is a win and in game. I think that they'll be playing at the same time, right? They're kicking off at the same time.
I believe that is true. Oh no, I think Tampa Bay plays on Sunday.
Oh, Tampa's first. Oh yeah, Tampa's on Saturday. Right.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But so this is going to be this crazy situation where, like, if this is so bizarre,
the Buccaneers are going to be watching
kind of anticlimactic. So like if the Panthers win, then this game is completely irrelevant. But if the Bucs win that game, then yeah, you have this really weird spot where it's a win and in game, not involving the 2 teams that it is a win and in for, either of them. I really can't remember that scenario happening before. It's really odd, but yeah, I think this is going to be probably one of the most fun games on the slate. I expect them both to put their best foot forward throughout. It's going to be one of the games that's indoors. You get a really fun quarterback on the New Orleans Saints side. You get one of the most fun players on the slate, obviously, in Bijan Robinson, who's going to carry crazy ownership this week, I suspect. Yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty fun spot. If I was, yeah, I think like I think you can do Atlanta stacks, including Bijan. I think you could do New Orleans with Bijan bringbacks. If I was going to not play Bijan at his absurd ownership, I suspect I would probably just not play this game. I don't think I would try to leverage off of Bijan with other pieces. He's just so involved with the pass game and the run game that if this game succeeds at any level, I think he's part of it. If I was to fade him, I would just fade the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, I really like Shuck. Shuck has just been there's not a great amount. Chris Olave has been getting pain-killing back injections to play in games over the last month for no reason, for a team that would honestly probably prefer to for draft stuff lose and maybe set themselves up to already replace Tyler Shuck, which I actually don't think they're going to do. But for the third straight week in a row, Shuck and Olave is really strong. Obviously, you can play Juwan Johnson. And how about my boy Kevin Austin Jr. With the touchdown last week? He's running 85% of the routes. There's going to be lots of we wake up on Sunday morning and a bunch of guys are inactive 3K wide receiver plays, but I mean he does run a ton of the routes. So you could definitely get away with Kevin Austin Jr.
For sure.
The Green Bay God, this total. Goodness gracious, 35.5. The Green Bay Packers traveling to play at the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings are favored by 7 points, which I would guess means that we are getting Max Brosmer versus Clayton Tune, or return of an old friend. I don't know if we'd call him a friend. Desmond Ridder signed to the Green Bay Packers. I guess Deshaun Kaiser was busy. All I've got on this game that would be relevant at all would be that Justin Jefferson is 57 yards away from 1,000 yards. They might just spend the entire second half throwing him wide receiver screens, and the Packers, maybe they just let him have it. They just say, you know what, you're a good guy. You're a good guy, man. We'll let you get your Make-A-Wish 1,000 yards there. But this is probably the least playable game. Josh Jacobs is not going to play. Wouldn't be surprised to actually see Aaron Jones not play because he's coming in banged up. We could be down here. Okay, maybe here's this. Well, here's this being interesting on the Packers side. They might also consider Emmanuel Wilson enough of what they plan on doing in the postseason that they rest him too, and they go down to Chris Brooks.
Yeah, I mean, this is one where I would be watching reports very closely because there is a chance that you get guys for the Packers who are stone min price who will play the entire game. And that is very worthwhile potentially on the slate if you're looking for
I would say likely for the Packers that we get multiple $3,000 players who are slated to play the entire game.
So this is one where I would just be watching really closely. It's really hard to give advice on that on Thursday when we don't really know for sure who's in and who's out. I would say the ones that are 100% going to miss. I mean, Love's for sure, Jacobs for sure. I mean, if we knew Willis was going to play the entire game at 5K, he's maybe the best play on the slate. Jordan Love is currently hurt. He's been hurt several times in his career.
Oh,
Malik
here
Willis
we go.
Has been so
here
good.
We go. Literally 5 minutes ago, Chris Olave illness will not play in Week 18.
Oh, okay.
So is Chris Olave really ill, or are we now saying, okay, well, the Saints are shuttering the doors? I don't know. I don't know.
Wait. Oh my God. Oh, he's really ill. It's a blood clot in his lung.
Oh, fuck. Okay. All right.
But they said that Olave's issue was caught early and he's going to be fine.
Okay. All right. Well, shout out to Chris Olave. That's crazy to be dealing with the back injections and then a blood clot in your lung. I guess that doesn't change the way we feel about the Saints, though it does definitely mean that one of Juwan Johnson, Kevin Austin, or whatever, these guys are going to project crazy.
Also means that the Carolina Panthers, their odds of winning the division just went up substantially.
Yeah. Don't doubt the Shuck Demon, bro. Can't doubt the Shuck Demon. I guess I'll say one thing that is interesting about the Packers, which is that they did sign Damian Martinez to their practice squad this week, and if Damian Martinez got called up, I mean, boy, I would be like a moth to a flame. Sure. If Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, and Jaden Reed rest, Wicks is banged up, and I think Savion is also banged up.
Yeah, he got hurt last week.
So we could be looking at what does Matthew Golden even cost? Like 3,800 or something. Yeah, wow, nailed it on the head. Exactly
Okay.
3,800.
Yeah, you're locked in on that.
So we could literally see Matthew Golden, as a practice squad wide receiver, basically
Yeah.
in week 18, which is a bummer, but I think you could
I would play
probably
that.
do it. Yeah.
I would play that for sure. And then, yeah, with Willis, I mean, just monitor reporting. Like, if it were me, I would not play Willis, or at least I would pull him halfway through the game.
If I was Malik Willis, I wouldn't want to play. Malik Willis is about to get the bag.
Well, he's about to get the bag, but also just like if Love goes down in the playoffs, like they can win games with Willis.
They can
Like,
win
he's been
games.
really, really good for sure. So,
Yeah.
I would prioritize his health in a pretty massive way. Yeah, if Willis went down for them, that legitimately hurts their chances. So yeah, we'll see what happens in this game. It's hard to know from the outside, but I would definitely monitor. I think like the potential of like a full routes Matthew Golden is pretty enticing, but that is kind of tied to Willis playing at least some, if not all, of this game. Like, I don't, if it's like Desmond Ritter or Clayton Tune against Brian Flores, like probably just a no thanks for me on that situation. And the Vikings, I expect to play hard. They're going for a winning season. They've rallied all the way back. They can finish 9-8 if they win this game. That's the kind of thing I think matters to teams and coaches.
Yep. I'm agreed with you there. All right, let's move
Kind of
on
crazy,
now.
by the way, that they're going to probably have a 9-8 season.
The Falcons.
The Vikings.
Oh,
They're
the
gonna have a
Vikings.
winning
Yes.
season this year. Like,
Yeah.
what?
I mean, yeah, they were a JJ McCarthy injury away from making the postseason, man.
Yeah.
How about it? This feels like basically the least playable game because the Bills are always annoying about this in terms like Josh is going to come out and play, but I'm actually going to go pull up the box score from their game last year, and you're just going to see that it's super annoying with the Buffalo Bills. Like they are basically the least predictable team in terms of like what they're going to do with their personnel. Like some of the starters are going to play, some of them won't. And then how do you even with the Bills, how do you even differentiate amongst their shitty wide receivers? Their wide receivers are such shit that you're like, well, which one of these guys do I want to play? Like, do I want to play Josh Palmer? Probably not. And then like, I know Brees did score the touchdown last week, and maybe they let him do it again. Do you think they let Brees play 80% of the snaps in this game?
Well, what happened with his injury situation? Is he going to be fine? Are we sure he's
I've
playing?
not seen anything. Okay, guess he didn't practice. So, okay, if Brees doesn't play, which maybe he doesn't. I think Isaiah Davis got banged up too, though. Isaiah Davis
Yeah, Isaiah
also did not
Davis.
practice.
So are we doing so after that? Because there's no Braylon, of course. So that leaves
Yes.
us with a
Kene
Khalil
Nwangwu.
Herbert and Kene and Nwangwu backfield.
I would be a little interested in Kene Nwangwu because he is the type of guy that Week 18 is made for. He's got no football skills, but he is like a 9.87 RAS guy who is like an unreal kick returner at Iowa State. That is what Week 18 is all about.
I think I might. Oh my god! Do you have the usage stuff to pull up between Khalil Herbert and Kene and Nwangwu last week?
Yes, I do. The Jets. So Brees played 46%, 22% of the rushes, and 21% of the snaps. So it looked like mostly Khalil Herbert on the passing downs, Kenny and Nwangwu as the early down rushing guy.
Noted passing down back Khalil Herbert. Desperate times.
Incredible.
They call for desperate measures.
By the way, this is the box score last year in basically the exact same situation for both teams. The Patriots were tanking last year, and the Bills did not care. 15 rushes for Ray Davis, 2 rushes for Ty Johnson, 10 rushes for James Cook. Curtis Samuel, 7 for 52. Who did Trubisky throw the passing touchdown to? Ray Davis. So I guess there you go. Ray Davis would be the play from the Bills side, and he actually matters less to them this year than he did last year. Like they were making a more concerted effort to get him the ball last year. So Ray Davis is probably your play there. I'm fine to play Kene and Nwangu or whatever on the Jet side, I guess. If we end up needing it. I mean, it's a 13-game slate. We're gonna have a lot more news come to us by Sunday. I'd put Jets timeshare back with Brady Cook pretty low on the priority list. But
Yeah,
Ray
I mean,
Davis, I think I like.
yeah, Ray Davis is interesting. He's especially interesting if Jonathan Taylor has a crappy game. It's just that would be one where I'm monitoring. This game is going to be in the late window, so I would make it a point to monitor what happens with Jonathan Taylor. And then if James Cook only needs like 10 yards or maybe even 0 yards to get the rushing title, then yeah, I think we see like a very brief cameo from him on the first drive. He gets his rushing title. He leaves the game. If Taylor, for whatever reason, goes for like 200 yards, then all of a sudden I think James Cook is way more interesting and might actually play. We'll see how much they care about that stuff. I would guess a good deal. I looked, by the way, at the Jets practice squad. They have Raheem Blackshear on their practice squad. So if Breece Hall does not play in this game and Isaiah Davis does not play in this game, I guarantee you it'll be Blackshear who will be promoted and playing the long down and distance stuff. He's the only one with any sort of profile. And then it's probably going to be a split between Kene and Herbert on the early down. That seems like a no-go zone for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right. The Arizona Cardinals traveling to play at the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are 7.5-point favorites here right now, but as outlined, there are a lot of scenarios where the Rams don't care about this game. And frankly, even if the way that McVay has historically approached this, and I think you could even kind of tell it from their game plan last week, was he's not really sweating the seeding that much. They would have really liked to have gotten the 1 seed. Once the 1 seed became impossible, they cared a lot less, which is to say, if the scenario where the Rams are totally locked into their seed, do we have one more ride with the Jacoby McBride Express against backup Rams players?
I think we do. I think we got one more ride. One more
Man,
ride.
it looked, I'll tell you what, man, it was a wild, scary ride last week. Things were not feeling good for the first 3 quarters of that game. It feels like Jacoby, it feels like, honestly, to me, what it is he's just like getting tired. He's like, fuck, dude, how many more times can I go out and just get my ass beat to make sure that Trey McBride has like a better stat line at the end of the year?
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna keep I think they're gonna keep trying. It sounds like Gannon like somehow is not actually a dead man walking. Like he actually still has some chance to keep his job. So I think he is going to continue to play his best players all game to try to keep that job. Whether it'll be successful, not sure. Um, yeah, I mean, we'll know more, I think, about the Rams' plans based. I'm maybe more bullish that they would try in the event that the game matters for the 5 seed than you are. I know that's been McVay's history. I think this year is unique. I think the odds of a Rams 49ers NFC championship in which home field is decided in this game against the Cardinals are pretty realistic. And I think that the Panthers / Bucks are just so obviously worse than the Eagles. Like how would you not want to play the Panthers or Bucks in the first round instead of going to Philadelphia?
We've
Like
said this
that's just
before,
purely worth
and
trying.
Sean does not care. This has happened multiple times with the Rams in these spots. He really doesn't care.
Has it ever been this extreme though? The difference in quality? Like
mean,
if it's Rams at Eagles round 1, what's the line on that game? Is it like Eagles -1? It's like close to
Yeah,
pick 'em.
something like that. So
Like
here,
what's
I don't.
the line on Rams at Panthers? Like it's like Rams -7.
I mean, the Rams already lost to the Panthers in the regular season.
It's true. It's true. But I mean,
Now here in the in a meaningless game last year, Jimmy Garoppolo starts for the Rams, and I believe he is still the Rams' backup quarterback. Tyler Higbee, Jimmy had a good game, 334 and 2. The backfield was complete. Didn't Corum get injured in this game last year at the Week 18 game? I feel like Corum
yeah,
maybe got injured in this game. Tyler Higbee, 5 for 46 and 1. Tyler Johnson here's your 3K wide receiver shitters. Xavier Smith, Jordan Whittington, Tutu Atwell. Like there's very likely to be a $3,000 wide receiver that you want to do here. I've generally been very confident in the Jacoby Brissett, Trey McBride, Michael Wilson stuff, and Marvin Harrison Jr. is not going to play in this game. They just announced this morning he's not going to play.
Yeah.
I think we are approaching the inflection point with them where it's just like whatever they were doing is not working anymore, down a bazillion points. And like it's probably fine this week, but it's not like, oh, well, I'm just easily running that back. Like it's the milk has started to go sour there.
Yeah, that's definitely fair enough.
All right, the Washington Commanders traveling to play at the Philadelphia Eagles. Here's one where we basically already know. Philadelphia is locked into the 2 or the 3 seed. They will face an NFC West team next. That's not debatable. So their opponent is basically not up to them in terms because they won't know the results, or I guess they will know the results. But would you have much of a preference between any of the NFC West teams? No. So we have on Run the Sims, we have Tanner McKee, Tank Bigsby, all these guys projected. Yeah. Really, the only question is, do the Eagles think Tank Bigsby is like somehow relevant to their playoff run and rest him, or do they just say, all right, we traded for you, young fella, go have 27 rushes against the Washington Commanders?
I think probably the latter. But yeah, if it were to be the former, that sure would be nice. I mean, could you imagine $4,400 Will Shipley against the Commanders, just getting 100% of the snaps? That'd be fun.
Well, you know what's? I'm just sitting here thinking about it, gaming it out. They might weirdly think Shipley is more important because Bigsby is just Barkley's backup, but Shipley actually has a role. Like Shipley actually does play long down and distance.
Yeah, I mean, they both play a little bit. It's weird. I mean, and they can't rest both of them. Like you do eventually have to play players.
Yeah, yes. The NFL rosters are not big enough that you can just just sit everyone.
So yeah, my guess is since they both have somewhat of a role, like Bigsby will take like a few carries a game, Shipley will play some 3rd and 9s. That they probably just split it between both of them in this spot. I would think.
Oh, dude, I have really bad news.
What?
AJ Dillon is like technically on this team and active.
Oh yeah, he might get some run in this spot.
Oh, that's actually really bad for Tank Bigsby because I think if I remember correctly, I think Dillon has just been like one of their healthy scratches every week, and you just make Barkley inactive. That makes this much more annoying, like significantly more annoying.
Yeah, because he has no role. So
none.
He doesn't play. Anything that they could do for AJ, it adds a risk factor. It's just, I mean, that's what makes this week so impossible. It's like you just have no gauge. Like they could do 70-30 Bigsby Shipley. They could do 50-50. They could make it a 3-way split. Who freaking knows? I don't know. Watch out for the beat reporting, I guess. But probably if all 3 are active, I don't know if I'm going to be taking a risk on it. I will be taking a risk on Mr. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt.
Buddy, this is the gold star play of the week.
Yeah.
Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt against Eagles backups in a game that doesn't matter to them.
Yeah. And I think he was so good last week. And was also really good. It was like the game against the Giants. And he's a rookie. Like, why would you give Chris Rodriguez 60% of the carries, even if he's back to being active in this game? Like, why wouldn't you let the rookie have a chance to close out the year strong? I think he'll get a sizable chunk of the workload in the spot.
Yep, and that's really it. I'm not trying to Darius Cooper. I'll toss out Darius Cooper. I think Tanner McKee actually balled the F out in this game last year. In fact, I'm almost.
Yeah, he's good. Tanner McKee is like a total Matt Flynn. Like he's.
So in this game last year, meaningless game for the Eagles against the Giants, Tanner McKee goes 27 for 41, 269 and 2. Aeneas Smith, it's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Jahan Dotson, 7 targets. I would think Darius Cooper would be this year's Aeneas Smith. That would be my guess. He was really, really good for them in the preseason. Is Johnny Wilson still on the team? He can't be, right? Johnny Wilson?
Dude, I don't have a clue.
Yeah. So there you go. I actually think Tanner McKee at $4,500 very playable. 41 pass attempts in this game last year. Now the Kevin Patullo is no Kellen Moore, but Tanner McKee for sure in play. All right, the Detroit Lions traveling to play in Chicago. Big game here for Chicago. They're locked into the 2 or 3 seeds, so maybe it doesn't matter as much for them there. But big one here. One, Ben Johnson against his old team. Pretty big.
Yeah.
Don't think he'll want to lay down there. Also, don't think Dan Campbell will want to lay down against his former assistant, given how things have gone. And a note to all the haters, of which there are many and of which Jacob is one. 270 passing yards for Caleb Williams away from getting it's the first 4,000 yard Chicago Bears passer ever, I believe.
Yeah, it's one of the most unfathomably futile stats in professional sports, and it has a chance to end this Sunday.
Yeah. I guess my question to you is, do you think Dan Campbell is the type of guy who's going to lick his wounds and move on to next year, or say,
No,
fuck this, like, let's go?
no. Dan Campbell will try in this game. That's like core to his ethos. I think. Is that he will try in this game. So now how well will Jared Goff perform outdoors in Chicago in January? Unsure. But I fully expect him to try. Amon-Ra St. Brown, historically, his numbers against the Bears are like unfathomably
Unreal.
good.
Yeah.
He just eats these guys. I think you can play. I think you can, and I probably will play a decent chunk of the Lions, because I think we're probably getting them basically just going full stop, and I think people will be a little bit trepidatious because they don't have anything to play for. I would be pretty interested in playing Lions stacks. The Bears defense is not imposing. The game has a really high total. The game is Chicago -3, so I think that implies that the market expects both teams to try quite hard with a 50 total and -3. I'll buy that. That seems pretty likely to me. So I'll play this under the assumption it's just like a full-on spot. I from the Bears side, could not possibly love Luther Burden more. I don't know what iteration of Bears receivers will get active. My guess is that Rome.
My guess is Rome out. Yeah.
Olave, I'm sure will be back. More in Loveland and Burden. I mean, Burden also got banged up at the very end, but he was practicing Wednesday, so I think he'll be in there. Coming off the awesome game, he's been their best guy per route. So I'll probably play a lot of this game, unless like the weather is like unbearable. But I would do from either side. I would do Caleb, Burden, Loveland, Amon-Ra, or you could do Goff, Amon-Ra, JMO, Burden, or whatever. You could do Swift in a revenge game. Basically every combination of this game I think is quite interesting, and it'll be my favorite one to play.
Yep. Caleb, Burden, Caleb Love, dude. Loveland at $3,900 is insulting.
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean, come on. Caleb, totally. Honestly, probably like Caleb more than Goff. This stuff. $6,700 JMO. I don't know. You know what I am here. I've got my shiny new toy. It's the guy holding the woman's hand meme, and I'm holding Jameson Williams' hand, but my head has been turned by Luther Burden. It's like, what do I need Jameson Williams for? I have another new fast young wide receiver in my life. Running backs. I mean, I think Swift is fine here. Gibbs. I mean, Gibbs won't really get played. This 24% projected ownership, no way. It'll be way too low. Yeah. All right. Here's another meaningless one. The Miami Dolphins traveling to play at the New England Patriots. Devin Achane had some interesting comments this week where he was like, "Oh, the number one thing I'm proud of myself this year is my availability." So I think that sounds like he is probably at least going to start this game. In terms of motivations for the Patriots, they stay alive for the 1 seed with the win, technically, but in the most technical sense, because Trey Lance is starting for the Chargers. So that basically means an auto win. Now, the hat on top of a hat, though, is he's probably not a stone mortal lock for MVP. I mean, he's probably going to win.
No, he's not.
Yeah, but and certainly he wants to win MVP. Vrabel wants him to win MVP. All that stuff.
Yeah, I think you have any mathematical chance at the bye, you try for it. Crazier things have happened, and especially adding the MVP thing. And I mean, they already kind of rotate all their skill players anyways. So I don't
Anyway,
know how much of a difference you can make. Like they already split evenly between the two backs. They already rotate in like 5 or 6 wide receivers if everybody's healthy. Some of them are not. So they might even just have so few wide receivers they can't really rotate in and out if Butte and Hollins is out. And if Butte remains out, then they're down so many bodies they kind of have to start guys. So I don't see a difference here. I think May plays the whole game. I think he's a great play on the slate. And I would be totally fine playing all the usual suspects. The only guy I would say probably I'm less into this week would be Diggs. He was fantastic the last couple of weeks. He's gotten his routes jacked up in some of these really big games. I expect that will be the case in the playoffs. I don't expect that to be the case here, especially if they're up comfortably. But this could easily be a spot I could see where they kind of pull back on his route rate. They've done that a lot throughout the season anyways. That's just purely speculative. But I think like May, Henderson, Stevenson, it'll be as you'd expect. Hunter Henry, same thing.
And I think he reached a bunch of his incentives last week, Diggs did. So I mean, I don't know. You'll have to check our boy Joe Holka's Twitter feed for more updates on Stephon Diggs contract incentives. But I think he got like one of the big ones last week, and they even asked Drake May about it after the game. So there you go with that. I mean, Henderson, Ramondre. I guess I don't even really have to ask, but do you have any specific thoughts on that split here?
Yeah, I mean, I think the split is what the split is. Like, even last week, like Henderson still had like over double the carries. I think in most weeks, Henderson is the highest scoring of the two, but obviously in like 35 to 40% of the weeks, Stevenson will be the highest scoring of the two. I think on this week with so many teams not trying, I think playing either is like completely viable. Given that I think it's a really good matchup and they're probably going to play their normal rate of snaps both ways. So yeah, I like both. I partially because I'm just, and partially because he's coming off of kind of a dud while the other guy went off. Like I'm very intrigued on playing $6,100 Henderson this week.
Yeah. Yep. I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. Okay, literally a game that we don't have to talk about because no one relevant is here. The Kansas City Chiefs against the Las Vegas Raiders. These are two teams who would they maybe agree on a tie like before the game? Would they maybe each go out and say, you know what, let's just see what happens with a tie? I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs offense with Chris Olave Olave, I said it wrong. Someone got mad at me, but whatever. And then the Raiders want to lose even more. Although I think even with a win here, they're still like 83% because they have the head-to-head tiebreaker against the Giants. On the Kansas City Chiefs, I would anticipate like probably Worthy doesn't play. I would anticipate Jack Bash does not play for the Raiders. Maybe if you want something to get excited about in this game, maybe they do just go ahead and start Brashard Smith because it's like truly the definition of a meaningless game. You know what? Michael Mayer, $3,500 Michael Mayer. Doesn't matter.
Sure.
The context of the game. Yeah, there you go. You could definitely play the shit out of him.
They also have Geno listed in. That's probably not the case.
Yeah, it's gonna be Pickett.
He suffered a mid ankle sprain, so it's gonna be Pickett. Yeah, Mayer's probably the only guy in this game. This game is horrible. I mean, I guess I don't know. You could probably talk me into Ashton Genty. He had his normal role last week. Why wouldn't he have his normal role? He did,
but like, what's the point, man? It's like
it would be absolutely off 2 weeks ago against Texans.
It would be very appropriate for him to go giga nuke in a game that did not matter.
Didn't he just do that like 2 weeks ago? He had like 30 points against the Texans.
Yes, he did.
So why couldn't he do that this week? I don't know. Yeah, this game sucks. Do you want to hear something depressing?
Yes, I do.
You know, every year there's like that person who does the tweet of like if you reverse all the results of every one score game.
Yeah, Kansas City would be 13-3 in first place, and they would be the
1 seed. And do you know who'd be the 2 seed of the AFC?
The Colts.
It would be the Colts. Yeah.
You know who would be dead last in the AFC?
The Denver Broncos.
Well, actually, the Raiders would be, but then of serious NFL franchises, the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
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 Speaking of the Denver Broncos, we have the Los Angeles Chargers traveling to play at the Denver Broncos. I guess the interesting element for this game would be, does Sean Payton let his guys have fun in a like a no doubter win? Like, does he like let RJ Harvey score 3 touchdowns? Does he call like a flea flicker to get a touchdown from I honestly don't really remember Sean Payton's history in these spots, but if he's down to let his guys have some fun in this game, I would say RJ Harvey, one of the best overall running back plays on the slate.
I think Harvey's just a ridiculously good play regardless. I mean, this Denver's going to be super motivated to win this game. Could they rest guys in the second half because they're up by so many points against Trey Lance? Sure. But like, if that's the case, that means they probably already scored a lot of points. Yeah, I super love Harvey. The Chargers run defense is bad at the best of times, and they're going to be resting dudes. So it's going to be horrible. And yeah, I'm into Harvey. I'm into Nix. I'm into Sutton. Every iteration of Broncos, I think, is a pretty fantastic play in a spot where very similar to last year, actually, when they got the backup Chiefs in Week 18 last year, and it was a game that the Broncos had to win to make the playoffs. The Chiefs had already clinched the 1 seed, right? Were they the 1 seed last year?
Correct.
So they'd already clinched the 1, and they got all the Chiefs backups, and the Broncos like boat raced them. Like, didn't they win like 49 to like? I remember it being over like immediately.
It was over immediately. The Chiefs did not score a point in that game. And let's, I mean, we can pull it up.
Yeah.
Oh wait, am I wrong?
38-0.
Oh, I pulled up.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I pulled up the game from last week. I was like, wait, how was there points in this game? I didn't write. It was
38-0. Bo Nix went off. He had 321 and 4 plus another 47 on the ground.
Sadly, their running backs
Sutton were 598 and 1, Mims 551 and 2, Vele 450 and 1. Yeah, their running backs didn't do much, but their running backs also were total garbage last year. So
yeah, 16 rushes for Jaleel, which would be Harvey probably in this spot.
Yeah. So point being, the Broncos absolutely laid it on the Chiefs in basically an identical spot where they had a really important game against a team starting a bunch of backups. I expect the same this week. They are going to obviously try for the 1 seed. And yeah, so if I was like power ranking teams that are going to be clearly motivated in good spots this week, it's like Jaguars, it's Broncos, are probably like pretty easily the top 2 of like actually good teams with something to care about. And then in terms of teams that maybe have less to care about, I was gonna say, like, in terms of teams that have a little less to care about, but I expect to be full good. Chicago for sure. Yeah, you could even loop them in there. And then New England, I would put in that tier. And then like in terms of teams who have nothing to care about because they're eliminated, but also nothing to rest for, who I expect to try and be in a fun spot. Like, I like Detroit. I would have said the Saints, but I like them less than Olave. I like the Falcons. Yeah, those are kind of the spots that I think are most worthwhile.
All right, there we go. 58 minutes. We made it through the 13 game main slate. Obviously, there's going to be some stuff that changes to like a pretty major degree over the course of the slate. So I would suggest staying tuned, and I would suggest being on top of the news. As always, we are going to draft a millionaire maker team here. And if you comment down below, you have a chance to win $10,000 when we ship $1 million. And Jacob, I will turn it over to you for the first pick.
All right. I will select. You know what? I don't know if I'm going to use an apology, but let this be an olive branch. I'll select Mr. Caleb Williams.
Wow. That is quite an olive branch, and I will toss in. I'm actually just gonna do the double. We're gonna do Burden and we're gonna do Loveland.
That works great for me. I will select Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. All right, I'm trying to think of which back. You know what? I'm just gonna put in JCM. I'm using the gold star and I'm putting
There
it
you
on
go.
my boy Jacory Crofsky-Merritt against the Eagles backups.
I will select Bijan Robinson.
Dude, I think we might have just won $1 million right here. All right, so let's toss in a defense. So defense pricing is going to be interesting.
Well,
There's
how
going
much
to
do
be
the Vikings cost?
I was going to say there's going to be some defense against some shitty backup where it's not priced that way. How much do the Vikings? Oh, the Vikings cost 3,000,
bro.
Yeah. All right. So now what we need to do is we need to decide do we want to try like for example, if we put Michael Mayer in the flex like every team did last week, we can do JMO for
Michael Wilson.
Michael Wilson.
There you go.
Randy Moss. We can just go ahead and put Randy Moss in there.
Put Randy Moss in the lineup.
Yeah. So we have got Caleb Williams, Jacory Crofsky-Merritt, Bijan Robinson, Luther Burden, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Michael Wilson, Colston Loveland, Michael Mayer, and the Minnesota Vikings defense that is entered in there. And now we're actually going to give you a little bit of a bonus. All the content on the channel this week is, of course, being sponsored by our friends over at DraftKings. It is playoff best ball week. So here at the end of Thinking About DFS, we are going to get into what Jacob and I refer to, frankly, as God's game. I would say this is probably my favorite version of fantasy football. And I'm very excited because I've not done any of these with you yet. And Jacob, we are drafting out of the 4 slot here on DraftKings in the DraftKings Playoff Millionaire Maker. Frankly, kind of insane that you can win $1 million playing playoff best ball. That doesn't really feel real.
Is. And look, obviously, like your chance to realize it is always never high, but I do truly feel that this is the format that has the highest EV in best ball, just because so many people are drafting completely dead teams. The thing that's tilting about it is that the people that are drafting these completely dead teams are often drafting teams that actually have a much higher than average chance to advance out of round 1. So you're in this spot where like you have teams that are just punting money overall because they can't win the Super Bowl. But it does kind of impact your round 1 advance rate. Anyway, yeah, what do you normally do here? Is it JSN for you in this spot?
So
or is it...
generally I like to take Barkley here.
I'm with that. I like the Eagles a lot.
So I'm higher on the Eagles than the field. The other thing is once Josh Allen goes, you lose out on that. I think another thing that we're going to see become a little bit more common over the next week is I think Drake May is going to end up becoming a first rounder in these games. I think Allen's going to get a little bit cheaper and May is going to become more expensive.
Yeah, I've been doing that a decent chunk where I just take one of May or Hendo in the first and take the other one in the second, and then just say, okay, I'm going to take both the Patriots guys. That's totally fine. That's annoying that AJ Brown goes there. That
is annoying.
So we need to now do. I guess the nice thing is Brown is pinned on the other side of the board, so we probably still get Hurts in the third. So we could do like
Nico.
Any AFC team we want. We could do Nico. We could do Hendo. We could do ETN.
You know what? Let's live a little. Let's do Henderson because we are maybe we get totally sniped and this has to turn into a Packers team, or a Bears team.
But it shouldn't. Rationally, it shouldn't. Like this Puka team should be focusing on Stafford. The McCaffrey team should be focusing on Purdy. The other threat for Hurts. Here's some free advice, people. Like Albacarius, idiot. Like just straight up just a bad drafter. Like Josh Allen is already gone. He takes Cook. He then takes Brown and he takes him behind the team with Barkley. So like he has a 0% chance of getting Jalen Hurts.
He's never getting Hurts.
When Hurts is available to us, we are taking him. Allen was already off the board. So he has his 2 best skill position players have a 0% chance of being in a live Super Bowl for him. He will not have a quarterback in that Super Bowl. It's just a horrendous position to put yourself in. And that is the kind of stuff that people do all the time.
Yeah, the only thing he has left as an option to him is doing like a full Chargers Super Bowl, a full Packer Super Bowl, a full Bears Super Bowl, or whatever. Sidekick wants.
But in which case you've punted. Yeah, we're not doing the. I'm sorry, Sidekick, but like that would be a crazy thing to do.
Yeah, we got to do now. Devonta Smith did just go. Obviously, the kind of interesting. We're going to be able to take Patriots players though. because right now, well, actually, this guy behind us is going to get the chance to take 2 of them. We'll see what he does. Obviously, the interesting wrinkle on DraftKings is that the lineup is 1 spot larger and the drafts are 2 rounds longer, 12 rounds, but you have to use a tight end. So a lot of the times on DraftKings, I actually take like 3 tight ends because I think getting the tight end, well, this freaking guy taking Goddard.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, like, we're stuck in this annoying spot now where, like, this guy is a moron, but, like, he's a moron that is going to drag us down with him.
Now, is this guy going to take Diggs or Henry? Because if he takes Henry, wow, he takes
Hard.
neither. That is okay. I would
No,
maybe
we got to do
slightly.
Diggs.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Who were you going to say?
I was gonna say Henry. I think you're probably right. Obviously, the big bonus you get there with Henry is you take care of tight end. Although, like, I don't know, man, Austin Hooper could score a couple postseason touchdowns. It's not like the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
So we have set up a Super Bowl lineup of Barkley, Henderson, Hurts, and Diggs. We're gonna add Henry. Then we're gonna be mining the Kayshawn Booty, tier. Well, actually, Ramondre is going to be a perfect fit, a great fit Patriots here.
Ramondre is going to be a good fit, and then we could also mix in, like, none of the Chargers have gone yet, and none of the Ravens have gone yet.
Yes,
if you want to build in a second AFC team.
Yeah. We could do Texans minus Nico. Jaden Higgins, Dalton Schultz, William Marks.
If possible.
Yeah, we could do.
You could always do some late Jags. Like, you could always do like a Parker Washington,
Brenton Strange. Yeah, because we've got Barkley outscoring Travis Etienne in the Super Bowl. Like that's like obviously the most helpful way to think about it is like, how does my lineup project in the Super Bowl? All right, so we get Hunter Henry anyway. Yeah, so Hunter Henry is a smash. So we now have our full Super Bowl lineup minus a flex. Now, what's like the sidekick always does this with the Packers. I have less of a fascination with the Packers than the sidekick does. I understand that it's I understand why it is what it is. Like, they are undervalued relative to their Super Bowl odds. They're just a very uninspiring team. Like, we all watch them play.
They have to play 3 road games. They don't have Micah Parsons. Like,
well, just oh fuck. All right, Henry goes, so we lose that opportunity. What
is this guy up to over there? Like, I thought we were going to go. Why is he taking Ravens? Like, at this point, like, okay, I guess you're just saying James Cook helps me for the first 3 rounds. They lose the conference finals. Build out your Texans Super Bowl against the Eagles. That's like your only path. Why is he taking Derrick Henry?
He's just vibing, bro.
That's I guess maybe he's just decided, like, I actually have a fully dead team, but I'm going to advance that around.
I just want to advance.
I'm going to get my money back.
So, Jacob, what I like to do in this spot is actually skip the Packers stuff and take Bears. Yeah. I actually like the Bears more.
Couldn't give less of a shit about the Packers. I would be fine with Bears.
Or do you want to do Chargers?
I'd be fine with Chargers.
You know what? Let's do Chargers. Because Aronde Gadsden is like my favorite, like round 9, 10, 11, 12 pick. Yeah. He's got super high ceiling.
We're gonna build the rest of this team basically just with Chargers and Patriots wide receivers, probably, right? And tight ends.
Yes. I didn't look to see if Herbert. Herbert has not been taken, so we can add in a potential Super Bowl there. We can add in Booty.
I'm fine. I'm fine with just riding on Hurts, though.
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously there is a scenario where Hurts has 1 14-pointer and Herbert has 21 points and advances you a week or whatever. But yeah. So we have like Ladd available to us. Booty is obviously
we really
super
need
important.
Wide receiver help.
Yeah.
Booty is key. Ladd, I think, is key. Well, so I'm curious, like, how come the sidekick? I guess it's just based on like model-based Super Bowl odds, right? But like, I'm fascinated that they're so much more bullish on the Packers than the Chargers.
I think the sidekick just has the Chargers like dead to make the Super Bowl, basically.
Because I don't think that's true. I mean, I think that they're both similarly, like, they're both these teams that have like a good quarterback and a good coach, but just like, unfortunately, the roster around them is completely ossified due to injuries. Right. And they're going to be the 7th seed. But like, the AFC is way worse than the NFC. I don't know. I could see Herbert like solo. I mean, they almost beat the Texans, and I think the Texans like might be the best team in that conference.
Do we
right.
want to take Booty here? Do we want to take Ladd or Swift?
Personally, I would be Ladd, but the sidekick doesn't seem to have any interest in him. But that would be my personal.
No, we are going to take Ladd because a lot of what I do with the sidekick is I'm basically like, this is what I want to do, and I need to infer from what you're telling me the best, highest EV way to accomplish what I want to do. And so now we have a Philadelphia Chargers Super Bowl, assuming we are able to get Gadsden. Damn. All right, Ramondre goes. We can't really afford to miss Booty because he's the last
we gotta
piece
take Booty. Got to take Booty
of our Philadelphia Patriots Super Bowl. So if we get Swift would be good. I love that they've updated the rankings now that Burden is like the advance rate piece. I'm bigly in favor of that. And what the sidekick is telling us right now is like, yeah, dude, you do not project for any wide receiver points in round one. You need way more wide receiver, which Ladd McConkey had a Zay Jones ass season, 11.5 PPR points per game for old Ladd McConkey.
Yeah, it's tough.
Not the best. Not really sure, but this is going to be a great Aronde Gadsden team. I wish this guy behind us would not have taken. Does it even make sense for him? No, this guy's he's got Drake May. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Ramondre is like one of my favorite advance rate pieces.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and also like a very live Super Bowl piece. I think Ramondre is a phenomenal pick in this format. He's like, I mean, if you were to say the Patriots play 4 games, what's the modal scenario for the distribution of points between their two running backs? Like, I would say the most likely scenario is that Ramondre is the higher scoring in 2 games, and Henderson is in 2 games.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm obviously very fine with taking Hendo, but like, I think that Ramondre is ridiculous value where he goes.
Huge value. So we're in a kind of interesting spot now because we've actually now built out a second Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Once we take Caleb, we now have Bears Patriots live, which is sick.
Like Loveland for the last.
So I'm trying to do the math in my head that if we take Gadsden, do we have a Chargers Eagles Super Bowl built out? We do, right?
Yeah, we do. We need one more Charger for that. We already have the Patriots Eagles.
Yeah.
So yeah, we would need one more Charger.
Yeah, so we take Loveland, then we take Gadsden, and then we have Chargers.
If we take Loveland and we
Bears.
take Gadsden, then we would have Chargers, Bears, Patriots, Eagles, and Eagles, Chargers.
That's fire. That's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And the Bears to me are it's like they're kind of coming on slow because as recent as 2 weeks ago, there was a chance they missed the postseason entirely. And then they ended up winning the division. Oh, fuck. Damn.
Okay.
Okay. So Gadsden goes.
We can do Loveland and we can do Rome.
We can do Loveland.
I guess we then wouldn't have Eagles Chargers Super Bowl, but
to get an Eagles Chargers
we could do QJ. We could do QJ.
We don't have a tight end.
Well, we're gonna take Loveland.
We don't. Right. But we don't have a tight end for. We would have to take like Calcaterra.
Okay, right. So screw that then. So Eagles Chargers is dead. That's fine.
Eagles. So the Chargers are just our advance rate pieces.
We can do Pats Eagles.
Yep.
And we can do Pats Bears already. If we take Loveland, then we could do Chargers Bears.
Chargers Bears. Right. Okay. Yeah. It's always Eagles, annoying Chargers to miss. Yeah. That's why I love taking the tight ends. But yeah, Loveland for sure.
Yeah, Loveland.
All right, and then I'm curious. Yeah, so now it's just mixing.
It's also like kind of possible that like there's an Eagles Chargers Super Bowl in which Dallas Goedert scores like 1.8 and Aronde Gadsden scores 2.3.
Yeah, super likely. Kyle Williams. So it's basically just adding in another Patriot. Do you have a preference on last Patriot?
Oh, Not really.
Cooper, Kyle Williams, Douglas.
Like I
I
guess like
think
Kyle Williams has the best like big play upside, right?
yeah. It's too quick for me to do the math off the top of my head, but I think taking Evan Ingram adds in another Super Bowl.
Evan Ingram
But
has one?
we don't have enough Eagles actually. No, we don't.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, Kyle Williams, good for me. There you go. Playoff best ball team: Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, Diggs, Ladd, Hunter Henry, Trevion Henderson, Marion Hampton, Kayshon Boutte, Luther Burden, Caleb Williams, Colson Loveland, Kyle Williams. That was a good team. I don't think I have those combinations of players. So it's a nice, perfectly layered team. Jacob, if the people want more playoff best ball thoughts from you, where can they get them?
Yeah, I have a couple things up I'm thinking. I think I'll at least have one or two more before everything goes in on playoff basketball. I will also next week have plenty of content. I'll write at least 2 posts, maybe 3 on the FFPC playoff challenge. You really do need to know like the very specific bracket. So I will refrain from giving thoughts out until it is set. But next week I'll be just blasting out FFPC playoff challenge content. It's a different format, but DraftKings playoff basketball, underdog playoff basketball, a lot of stuff up this week, next week. And then I have this is in truly Davis Mattek form. This is like maybe the most Davis Mattek thing I've ever done. Was I did a post on my 2026 top 50.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. It was a good post.
So you can work off of that if you, like Davis Mattek, decide to fire up a little board or whatever or whatever. What do you think? Does DraftKings, do they have pre-draft stuff on the way?
They did. So last year they did it kind of small. It was called the training camp, and it didn't come out until the season was actually over. My guess, and I don't know, no, they wouldn't tell me this. My guess is it's much bigger this year. My guess is it ends up being comparative size to the offerings on Underdog.
If they have something that is available at halftime of the NFC Championship, Davis will be streaming it, and I will at least have 50 available rankings.
I will be there, so you'll have 50 players to draft.
I'll be there no matter what.
I'll be there no matter what. Everyone, make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Check out the best ball stuff over on DraftKings. Thanks again to them for sponsoring the shows this week. And we will see you guys all back tomorrow. Later.